Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Why don't you come on in here and join me as we study today Psalm 10, verses 12 and 13. So we've been looking at this middle section in Psalm 10, which talks about the wicked man. It gives us this definition, which will serve us well as we go forward studying the Psalms, because so often the wicked man is contrasted with the righteous. And again, in the book of Proverbs, we have the wicked contrasted with the righteous. So this definition is a good one for us because it helps us to sort of get a handle on who the wicked man is. Okay, so today we're going to look at 12 and 13, and we're going to see the 13th and the 14th. So the last two of these items in our list. We've got 14 of these in our list. So let's read together today verses 12 and 13. Arise, O Lord, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Okay, so that's 12 and 13. You'll notice that we have this, I call this the prayer outbreak here. David just couldn't stand it anymore. He just couldn't stand it. So he says, O Lord, O God, lift up your hand. Forget not the humble. So he just said there in verse 11 that the wicked man says in his heart, God has forgotten. Now David prays, and he says, Arise, O Lord, lift up your hand. Forget not the humble. So, he doesn't want God to be forgetful, because the wicked man's already said God's forgotten. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. He's hidden his face. And David says, Oh Lord, don't forget. Don't forget. So we have this little prayer burst here. It kind of pops right in the middle of near the end of our list. But it's just wonderful. The desire of the psalmist, so often our desire is not quite this potent when we pray. Arise, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. And then verse 13, where we have two here, the last two of these things about the wicked man. Why does the wicked condemn God? Well, it's a question. Now, we had questions back up there in verses 1 and 2. I'm sure you remember that. Back in verses 1 and 2, we start off with questions. Here's another question. Why does the wicked condemn God? But it also gives us something about the wicked. He condemns God. Yeah. He's not blessing God. He's not praising him. He's not thanking him. He's condemning him. And that, of course, is always in the mouth of the wicked. They're always ready to blame God for everything, even though they're wicked. And they're the ones that are doing it. Yet they blame him. They blame him for the outcomes. They blame him for the motivation. They blame him for everything. They think God is the one who is to be, he's the one that's to be blamed for all the ill in the world. And isn't it interesting that back in the first part of the list, we read that the wicked man doesn't retain God in his knowledge. He doesn't remember him. Well, it seems like he's thinking about him all the time. He's saying, well, God's not going to know. He's hidden his face. He's not there. And then we have this. He's condemning God. Well, apparently God's in his thoughts all the time. And he's blaming God for all the bad in the world, which, of course, is what the wicked do. You know anybody like that? Just blames God all the time for everything? So then we have the second, number 14, the 14th item in the list. He says in his heart. Here it is again. So we've already had, what was it, verse 11. And what was the other one? Was that verse 8? No, it was verse 6. I will not be moved forever. And then verse 11, God has forgotten. He's hidden his face. And now we come to verse 14, and he says in his heart, he does not look into it. So he's even saying now of God, he's not even going to examine. He doesn't care. This is how you say it. God does not care. He's not going to look into anything that I do. God doesn't. He's hidden his face. He's forgot about it. it's all his fault anyway, and he's not going to look into any of this. So that's the 14th item. So we've had 3 quotations from the wicked man. He will not be moved. That's the first one. He says to himself, I will not be moved forever. And then he says in verse 11, God is forgotten. He's hidden his face. And then here in verse 14, he says that God does not look into it. Okay, so now we've heard all that. We got the list. We understand who the wicked man is. And now David's going to take over in verse 14, and we're going to see exactly what he has to say. Get a little bit of this, like I said, confident confession, some prayer, and some pretty good theology here. So 14 through 18 will be the text going forward. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow. We're going to dive right in to verses 14 and 15 here on Daily Dose Radio.